Well, hello there, my real estate friends and family. We are about to answer one of the biggest and most interesting questions in the entire country and perhaps in the entire world in this real market update. And that is, should I buy a home or is right now a good time to buy a home? Now, the first thing I must say is that the reason why I decided to create this video is I want you to be educated and informed to the highest degree. This being said, this could be a very multifaceted, a very intricate topic. So to keep matters simple and conversational for this video's purposes, we're going to keep it binary. And we're going to focus on two main components, and that is home prices and interest rates. A further breakdown of home prices and interest rates are whether we're looking at the financial aspects of buying a home or the non-financial aspects of buying a home. But we'll get to the non-financials after we cover the financials. So the first aspect to note is that interest rates did double over the last course of the year. They went from 3.22 on average at the beginning of 2022 to about 6.66 at the average at the end of 2022. However, a nice little slide in there is that we are now starting to see interest rates already starting to decline. Now, this all being said, Mark Fleming, one of the leading economists in the country, has basically inferred that if we are to see a recession or if we are to see higher interest rates keep increasing, that the worst part of this increase is actually behind us and that it should taper down from here. And that's aligned with a lot of other aspects and a lot of other elements that we're seeing take shape as well. Now, what's important to note is that this is all about inflation, or at this point, deflation. And interest rates and inflation have a direct relationship to one another. They are essentially married to one another. That is one of the main reasons and ways in which we bring down inflation is we raise rates, and then we start to see those numbers decline. So what's really promising and really assuring and optimistic, and I think noteworthy, is that for anybody out there that's worried about an upcoming recession, when we interviewed 8 out of 10 global CEOs and specifically even domestic CEOs, they all agreed that if there is a recession, that due to the economic climate, it would be a very mild and short experienced recession. So despite all of the chicken little sky are falling analysis, there's only a very, very small few of individuals seeing it that way. The majority actually see quite the opposite. And this actually correlates over to the 2023 home forecast, kind of home value forecast, should we say rather. And that is when 6 real estate establishments were actually cross-analyzed, interviewed, and asked to share their information, only 1 out of 6, and that's Zelman, reported that they believe that home prices will decline. And that's only by 4%. And now that's what you're seeing all over the news, all over the media. And unfortunately, bad news travels quicker than good news. And that's one of the reasons why there's so many people out there that are fearful and anxious about what's to come. However, again, this is only 1 out of 6. And even in that, the 1 out of 6 and the vast minority, the report is that we should only see a decline by about 4%. So keep in mind, the average rate of increase is usually 3.8%. So what we're really seeing is more of a plateau in some areas. Now, the areas that are expected to increase are the areas that were colder during the pandemic, and the areas that are looking to increase are the areas that were hot during the pandemic. Now, it's not that simple, considering Florida and some of the other markets, such as I believe Austin, Texas, and a couple of the other few, are still slated to go through increase or ascension patterns due to other variables that are outside of what we're discussing. And even to add on to that as well, the cumulative home prices from now until 2026, when the overall and entire from real estate community was asked, we're seeing that pessimists believe that perhaps we will only see an increase of about 8.1% from now till 2026. Optimists are seeing an increase of 43.7%. And so neutral or realists are looking at that average at about 23.7%, around 24%. So what that means, to put that into context and into perspective, is that let's say, to keep it average and to keep it kind of relatable, let's say you purchase a $500,000 home. In the next 3 years, you're expected for that home on the low to rise to 550,000 due to about a 10% increase. So that's, over $15,000 per year of an increase. And let's say you were to purchase now, you can always refinance later as a specific strategic point. So perhaps you could buy now and, actually, obtain the interest rate that's a little higher, however, then refinance as soon as possible. And you will have acquired the home at a much lower price. And then eventually you'll have your lower interest rate as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of different strategy points, and there's a lot of ways to kind of combat what's occurring right now in the market. So the real villain and the real problem and the real crises, rather, that we should mention are rental amounts. Rental amounts have gone up steeper and faster than home prices or interest rates over the last 2 years. And so if you are renting right now and you're thinking of waiting to buy, it surely doesn't serve you to keep renting and waiting to buy. And to add on to that, we can even piggyback that with the non-financial aspects of buying a home. And that is, home buyers, or homeowners rather, should we say, feel more stable. They feel wealthier, they feel more comfortable, and they feel like their life is more intact due to the fact that they own what they live in versus what they rent. So to kind of encapsulate all of this, as you can see, there is really strong indications that we are now past the highest levels of inflation. In fact, mortgage rates are now starting to decline. Inflation rates are now starting to decline. So those are both really good signs that we're heading in the right direction. And so don't listen to the negative information out there. Be careful of listening to the news. Focus more on what actual real estate people are saying, what real estate moguls and enthusiasts are saying themselves, because there's a very different opinion and perspective within real estate and outside of real estate. So with no further ado, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed this market update, find it relevant, and find it very valuable. And as always, keep it real until the next market update is released.